This is the richest man in all of Europa Universalis 5. That's just a fun fact for you guys, because today we're playing as the poorest man in the poorest country instead. That's right, we're playing as the Ayyubids, completely surrounded by a massive horde to the east, one of the richest great powers to the west, trash economy, no unique events or bonuses, just pure suffering. Well, at least we get a formable that I bet you didn't know about. Alright, so it's time to start fixing this mess that is our country of Ayyubids. First of all, let's go to our budget, guys. We can see that we are immediately losing 0.37 ducats, which is not that great, but we're still going to increase our cost of the court and also stability, because it is relatively cheap for us to do that, and it's going to be very beneficial because we're going to be using stability for revoking privileges. We're going to have increased estate satisfaction, which allows us to tax the estates more, and when it comes to legitimacy, we will increase our crown power, and we desperately need to do that because we have below 25%, which gives us some really bad debuffs. Now, this is the biggest culprit of why our economy sucks. We have 0.61 maintenance. Why are we paying for these stockades in our country, you might say? Well, there is actually no reason, because if we get attacked by somebody, then we're dead. So we're going to delete both of these, and this is going to save us a lot of money. Alright, so that's no longer a problem. We don't need Diplo spending. And when it comes to taxes, we're actually just going to max tax the nobility estate. We're going to reduce the taxes on Ulema, on Zemi, and we're actually going to reduce the commoner's tax. We're going to leave it at like 70%. We're not going to automate this in the early parts of the campaign, because we kind of want to min-max the taxes to get as much money as possible and do certain things, such as revoking privileges. And this is why we're raising the loyalty right now for the commoners. Now, our estates are a little bit different from the other countries, because as you might notice, we don't even have the burghers, and this is because we don't have any towns or cities. We only have 2 rural settlements. Matter of fact, the resources in these rural settlements are pretty garbage. We have olives and cotton. Well, cotton actually is quite profitable with 0.52 ducats per expansion, but the main problem is that an expansion costs over 50 ducats, which is also impacted by the prices of lumber in our market, which we have no control of, obviously, as we're so tiny. We are in the Baghdad market, and that is controlled by the Jalayirids. So basically, we're gonna pray that these guys upgrade some lumber so that we can have lower prices for our buildings. Now, it's not all that bad, guys. We do have some positives as the Ayyubids, such as an easy target of Artuqids. And Artuqids actually is a pretty good country when it comes to resources. Like, we have a lot of food here, we have some livestock, sturdy grains, we actually have a location with lumber too. And apart from the goods, their locations are pretty valuable because some of them are cities and towns, so we will unlock the burghers estate once we conquer them. And they have a good amount of nice buildings in them, so we will get to use all of these ourselves once we have that. Another good thing is that we are in the Ilkhanan International Organization. If you have seen my Ormus video that I did and from Persia, then you know what all of this is about. But to put it in short, we will be able to use this international organization to make a claim on the Artuqids without using our parliament. We can build a spy network, and we will be able to make a claim when we have 20. We're also going to begin improving relations with the Mamluks, because if all things go well in the future, we will be able to get an alliance with them, and hopefully we can use them against the Jalayirids, but we will see if that does happen or not. Now, let's go to our research. We're going to start with organized religion, guilds, and we're pretty much going to pick everything with some exceptions. Like, guys, when you go to your research, you want to think of what's going to be useful and what's not in your position. With a country such as Ayyubids, we have pretty much no use from the construction speed, as we're not constructing many buildings or any buildings right now. Institution growth, not necessary right now because we are very far away from the spots where the initial institutions spawn. Diplo capacity is totally useless because we don't have any alliances, no way of getting them, and we're not gonna have any subjects at all. Basically, we can queue up everything else apart from that. Alright, before we do anything else, let's go to our government and values, and let's see what we have going on here. So, we are pushed 40 towards decentralization. Since we're not going to have any vassals, we're not going for the subject meta, we're going to push towards centralization. Other values that I would like to have would be obviously land, as we're a landlocked nation. We're gonna benefit more from the proximity cost from land other than naval. Eventually we do want to get capital economy, but again, it's not really our priority because the additional food production that we get from the traditional economy is pretty good, since most of our RGOs, even after we conquer Artuqids, are going to be food RGOs. Yeah, probably it's the best to stay with traditional economy until you can expand further than the Artuqids. Communalism is going to be great. We already have 50 push towards that, and that increases the state satisfaction and allows us to revoke privileges cheaper. Other than that, we do want to max out aristocracy for more discipline, and we will probably max out serfdom so that we can tax our peasants more. When it comes to our laws, we're actually going to go for additional trade efficiency. Like, none of these modifiers would be very helpful to us right now apart from this. And for the second one, we're going to allow slave religion because it's going to give us a little bit of humanism so we can eventually make a push for that. For our rival, we're going to select Artuqids. For the government reforms, we can go for additional crown power with autocracy. This is also going to help us to push more towards aristocracy, which is something that we want. And we can go for agricultural cultivation for more food production and serfdom push. When it comes to our privileges, guys, I strongly recommend to go for elite council for the nobles, even though this is going to increase their power by 50% and of course is going to lower your crown power. I think it's worth it because elite council makes it very easy to push for more parliament acceptance, which is going to make you switch your laws faster and make you get the bonuses that you want to get faster as well. So we're gonna get this. This is gonna be it for the nobles. We're not gonna grant them any more privileges. In the future, however, we will be aiming to get this one with additional levy combat efficiency. It's a really good one. Now to Ulema, we're going to grant great works of faith for additional centralization. We're gonna go for additional max literacy, not granting anything for the commoners right now, and actually in the future we will be revoking communal lands, but not just yet. We don't want to upset these guys too much because this would make us lose 40% of state satisfaction, and we don't really have a way of increasing that as we're not interested in any of these privileges right now. And we don't want to bribe these guys because of how important money is in our early game. Zemi has some interesting privileges, but again, we're actually going to look into this a bit later into the campaign. Don't need any of these right now. Now let's go to our automation. This is optional, but I do like to enable trade, close and open buildings, subsidize buildings, even though this does not do anything right now. I just like to have this automated for when we have buildings. And let's also go ahead and automate replace generals and admirals. Let's go to our cabinet. We will be adding some cabinet members and selecting actions. And first of all, what we're going to do is strengthen our government. And we're also going to stabilize our country for more stability and legitimacy. And yeah, when it comes to actual advisors, we're going to appoint a crown member because having him will increase our crown power. And on top of that, guys, if we make him a head of the cabinet by paying 1 ducat, we will actually get the modifier of crown head of the cabinet, which again will give us another 25% crown power and even more legitimacy. It's very good to have this. For the second member, we're just gonna look for someone with the highest military stat. We can also sometimes get some good religious traits. If you get a religious trait that increases the efficiency of the cabinet, then go for that one, especially if he has a high stat for the action that you're doing. But in this case, we're gonna go with this 83 guy. Now guys, if we skip 1 month, we should be able to see our minting. There we go. So we actually want to increase the slider to the point where we're not losing any more money. So let's leave this at like 0.12 inflation. Yes, we're gonna get a lot of inflation. It's not a huge issue, however. We're pretty much gonna keep it this way until we have like 10% inflation, which is when we're gonna start and reduce it a little bit. Alright guys, and pretty much at this point just speed 5, and we will be waiting for 20 spy network and for our first parliament. It's November 1339. We got a commoners event, which I don't really like. We could go for a bit more serfdom, but this would make us lose 10% satisfaction, and we're desperately trying to push this towards 70%, so I'm actually gonna say no. And we're gonna go for our first parliament, guys. We want to select this with the highest percentage option, such as expand gravel road network, and then we can see that we have 66% parliament support, and because we granted that 1 privilege to nobility, the parliament agendas give us a huge support increase. We have 32% if we go for support a traditional economy, so we are actually going to pass this. We have nearly 100%, which is awesome. Let's go first of all for a law change. We're gonna select distribution of power and switch to traditional distribution, which increases our decentralization and reduces crown power. Instead of that, we're gonna go for favor the ruler for a boost for crown power as well as more maximum tax. Now we can click another option here, such as reduce opinion. We have another 50%, and we can go for our second law change. The second most important one is gonna be feudal de jure law. We're gonna go for by blood. We're gonna need this speed of integration. There is actually one more law that we desperately need to switch, and we have it as a change policy. It's absolutely amazing that we got this because we would have gone for central council anyways. We really need to switch our admin system, which increases decentralization, and we're gonna go with central council, which gives centralization and efficiency of the cabinet. So this is fantastic. We got very lucky this time. If you don't get this in your game, guys, it's fine. If you do like 2 law changes, you can do this in your next parliament. We also now have 20 spy networks, so this means we can go to hostile actions and we can create the shed the shackles of the Ilkanan Casus Belli on our boy over here. We are ready for our first war. So let's select the shed the shackles Casus Belli and let's declare on Artuqids. Now guys, remember, we don't have any more fortifications, so what we want to do is raise up our levies and we immediately want to chase down his army and beat it up so that they cannot occupy our stuff. There we go, we got our levies, we have our general. Let's wait for a little bit more morale and then we can march. Boom, there we go, we encountered his army and it's an easy battle for us. We got 25 war score, we also get good government policies, that's right. Actually, yeah, let's go for the stability option. We can chase these guys down, kill them off, and once this is done, we only need to occupy like a couple of locations. We're gonna occupy Sinjar and we're gonna go for his capital in Mardin, and this war is gonna be finished. And boom, guys, there we go. These locations are gonna get auto-occupied and we can go for a full annexation, which is going to give us a little bit of money on top of that. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, immediately, we want to switch our advisors to begin integrating provinces. We're gonna begin with Mardin and Nusaybin. We can select a new rival. Doesn't really matter which one we go for. We're gonna select one of the Jalayirid vassals. And guys, we have unlocked the Burghers estate. Now, because these lands are not yet integrated, we actually would not get any benefits if we tax them. We would just destroy their satisfaction. So we're not going to tax them at all for now. The best thing is, of course, that we have access to the privileges. Speaking of which, we already have 66% loyalty for the commoners, so I feel pretty confident right now about revoking communal lands, which gives us so much decentralization. It's also pretty cheap to revoke this in terms of stability because we have a high communalism and we have a bit higher crown power than what we had at the start. We actually have 35%, which is pretty damn good. So let's revoke the scrap. We're down to 26% loyalty for commoners, so we don't want to mess around too much and give away too many privileges that would hurt their satisfaction even more. Okay, let's say we want to get building rights for the burghers. This is going to reduce the commoners by just half a percentage, so we can do this freely. Another privilege that I would like to get very early on is urban development grants, because it will give us passive development, which is really nice to have. It's going to impact all of our locations, and also push towards innovativeness is really good to have on top of that. Again, it's not going to upset the commoners too much, so we can do this one, and we will return for more privileges a bit later on. Okay, at this point, we don't really need to make the commoners as happy as they were, so we can reduce this to like, let's say 45%. And this way we will be able to make a little bit more money so that we don't go into debt. We don't want to have any loans because that would pretty much start destroying our country. Our loans are only 3 ducats each, and with each of loans that you have, you reduce your crown power, so you must avoid that. Exceptional year. Now, usually, guys, I would actually take like stability or research, but in this case, we're actually going to go for the additional 8 ducats because it's going to be pretty important. Look at this, guys. If we were to upgrade our cotton RGO, the price is down to 35 ducats, and this is because the lumber in the Baghdad market is on a surplus, so we get a 33% discount, and it's going to be very good for us to upgrade this right now because it's going to give us a lot of profit. With this, we enter the Age of Renaissance, and we're going to select the admin focus, even though the military bonuses would be very useful to us. Admin focus is still superior, so let's go with it. Alright guys, let's shop for more privileges. Treasury rights is actually going to be really good for the additional tax efficiency and innovation push, so let's pick that. It's only going to reduce the maximum tax for burghers estate, and we're not taxing them at all right now. Okay, we have 46 stability, guys, so right now what we're going to do is cut down on the investment a little bit. We're also going to increase our inflation a tiny bit more, and this is because we're actually gonna lose some legitimacy with the next action, and it's going to cost us more. So let's go to our society, people, characters, and we can see all of our characters over here. We want to marry our crown members so that we can produce more characters and have more crown members later on that we can use for our cabinet. Unfortunately, we don't have any royal marriages available, because if we did, these would actually show up in the UI up top. We can even see this if we click on arrange a royal marriage. Nobody is willing to accept that. So let's go back, and we're going to instead marry a lowborn, which is going to cost us 5 legitimacy and 5 prestige. Prestige doesn't matter, legitimacy does a little bit, but it's gonna be worth it. And the thing is, guys, that we can do this not 1 but 4 times, because we have a law that allows every male to marry 4 wives. So we're going to marry him 4 times. And we're gonna do the exact same thing on our other crown member, Salih, over here. We're also going to give him 4 wives. Now this cost us 40 legitimacy, which is not ideal, but in return what's going to happen, we're gonna have a ton of crown members that we can use for whatever action we need them to use. And it's like we calculated this perfectly. By decreasing the sliders, we're still not losing money. Alright, there we go. We can go for some more research. Now let's go for scholarly treatises. We're gonna push for some improved relations. Really what I'm interested the most is literacy. Literacy is gonna be very useful because it will allow us to get more research progress and of course pass more advances faster. Monthly legitimacy also is going to be very good. Estate satisfaction. Okay, so we have another parliament and we do have support land focus, which is good. We do want to always go for land focus to push more towards land value. So we're going to pick this. For a law change, there's not much that we currently need to switch, but we could go for a different levy law. This is going to be helpful in the future because we're going to have additional 25% levy combat efficiency. And yeah, if we don't want to lose this parliament and not lose 7 stability, then we can just support traditional economy and we're gonna be at 50%, which is good. The Black Death appeared. Okay, so we're gonna wait until it spreads to our country until we take some measures. Obviously, we're not gonna be building any hospitals simply because, well, you know why. We cannot afford it, okay? We're poor. And unfortunately, we're gonna be losing a little bit of money. We have to rely on the inflation still. We're gonna have the legitimacy shortly, but until then, we're gonna tax these guys a little bit higher. Let's push towards like 30%. Yeah, this is not gonna be great, but we have to do it. Oh god, 10 legitimacy loss at the worst moment. Screw you, man, screw you. Do we kill this guy? Who are you? Terlan Ravadid, our cabinet member. You gotta go, man. We cannot lose 10 legitimacy. Screw you. Don't really have any good replacements for him, but we're gonna have to do with this 48 military guy. They're all dying. Holy crap. We cannot kill our heir though, so we're gonna have to lose stability. Guys, the Black Death has not even hit our country, and everybody's dying. Minus 51 reasons for the alliance with the Mamluks. However, guys, this is going to get better in the future because we still don't have a marriage with them. So once we have more characters, this should be more likely for us to get a marriage. Cure any disease for us, boys. The Philosopher's Stone. This is going to cost us 8.62 ducats. We cannot really even afford this, to be honest, but I am going to reduce the stability slightly. We want to make sure to get this. Now guys, when it comes to education of our children, we're always going to select admin focus. Admin is going to be the most important stat because as it increases crown power and proximity cost reduction, so you want to go for admin. And there we go, we have the Black Death spreading to our country, so we're going to move our court into hiding to reduce the chances of our characters dying. 10 stability, it's going to be worth it though. And another thing that's going to be worth it is segregating the infected to have another 15% disease resistance. This is the only disease resistance that we can get, so might as well have it. There are actually some like decent-ish events when it comes to the Black Death, such as this one, which increases our research progress. At least we're not just losing stuff. And this is why we paid 8 ducats for that event previously, because now we get 10 research progress, we get some medicaments, so this is really, really worth it. And we have a new count. He's got 72 admin stats. This is the most important thing for us. We're looking good. We're actually looking good. I'm not mad at these stats at all. Oh my god, we're starting to have so many children. And unfortunately, we no longer have crown members that we could appoint as our advisors, which really sucks. But we're gonna have to do with this 38 military guy. And now our crown power is gonna be cooked for a bit. We only have 18%, so this is quite horrible. But this is also why the marriages to lowborns are going to help so much, because we're gonna prevent this from happening in the future. Even though the Black Death is still wrecking our country, we did stabilize our economy a little bit, so we're not gonna tax the nobles as much, we're not gonna tax the commoners as much, and we're actually gonna start on working towards reducing our inflation, which reached 16.57%, which is not nothing. We're gonna make this decline at least a slight bit. Once we have a little bit more money, we're gonna try and get rid of this at all. If we wanna begin building some stuff, it's gonna be important to have as low inflation as possible. Oh, guys, we need this. We need to bolster the government. This is actually really good if we can pass this because it's going to increase our crown power by 20% for 10 years. Would be massive to have. And this is why I love the elite council privilege so much, guys. We have base support of 19% and we have aristocratic support, which gives us 32% additional bonus for the parliament. So with this one action, we already have over 50% and we will complete the agenda, which will give us a lot of crown power. One thing that really needs to be introduced into the game is automation for education and marriages, because it's gonna become a problem once you get this notification like hundreds of times in one campaign, which is now starting to show up very frequently after we did the initial marriages, and it's only going to show up more and more frequently as we go on. There we go, we have bolstered crown authority, so now we have at least 22% crown power, which is not as bad as it was before. And we're starting to get some new cores because these locations have the primary culture of ours, so they immediately become cores. We have 59% Kurdish pops in Dynastic. For example, Mardin is going to be another location that we're going to get as a core immediately. And Nusaybin is not, because Syriac is the primary culture. So we will need to start converting this because we still don't have a way of accepting that massive culture. It just costs too much. Boom, guys, very good stuff. We integrated one of our provinces, so we can continue integrating what's left. Once we have these first provinces integrated, this is where the things really are going to start switching to our benefit. It's 1352 now, guys, and we already got rid of our decentralization. We have a small push towards centralization, and we're gonna start pushing more aggressively for this once we have the integration done, because then we can use our cabinet members to push for different values. We don't, however, want to focus this one before we do the integration because of how important these locations are going to be for our economy. Alright, we actually have an advisor with 90 Diplo power, so we can use him for changing societal values. Now let's push towards centralization, and look at this, we're getting 0.48 push, which means we're gonna have a maximum of 48 centralization, and that's already, once we reach it, is gonna give us such a nice bonus to crown power. It's gonna be great. Unfortunately, we have the Turkish patriots rising up. There's only 5 of them, but they're mighty. Look at these guys. Alright, we're gonna have to take you out, boys. No rebellions in our country, alright? There we go. One of my favorite parliament agendas, balance the budget. I'm not sure what's exactly the requirement to unlock this one, but I believe you need to have like a significant amount of inflation. Maybe it's like 5%. If you guys know exactly, then do let me know in the comments. But yeah, this one's great because it's going to reduce the monthly inflation by 0.40% monthly while it's being debated. And also once it passes, you lose 2.5% inflation. Alright, we managed to reach 51% support, and we do get this passed, which means our inflation now is down to only 10%. Okay, now let's tax these guys just a little bit more, 40% and 40% on the commoners, and I believe we can start taxing burghers as well. Yes, we're gonna actually start earning some money, so let's leave them at like 45% as well. Look at this, 0.80 ducats balance. It's small victories like this that makes the game fun, playing a small country such as the Ayyubids. And with 30 ducats, we can think about upgrading some RGOs. Like, we can see that we're getting some decent profit from lumber. We can go for cotton. So how much cotton right now costs for us? It's 37 ducats. Okay, so this is going to be my next upgrade. And we're pretty much just gonna focus on maxing this out. Because actually, guys, if we go to our production, buildings, and sort by income, you can see that RGOs would be the most profitable thing for us to focus on expanding right now. We don't want to really build any like industrial buildings right now. It's really awesome how we have all the discounts. We have 33% for lumber when expanding cotton, and we also have 33% for tools. So good job, Jalayirids. You're making us richer. I really appreciate that. We're just leeching off these guys. Yeah, so we still don't have any institution spread. We don't need to worry about that. We can go for minting threshold, sure. Expected cost of court, proximity costs. These are going to be very beneficial for us to have. Alright, we have a free cabinet slot. Now we can focus on assimilating pops into our culture. Let's go with Kurdish culture, and let's focus on Nusaybin for now. And let's see, do we have a better advisor? Oh my god, these stats are just horrible. Look at this, guys. 23, 9, and 1 Diplo ability. That's just disgusting. And also, this is our integration map mode after we finished integrating all of our provinces. Like, half of our country is not fully cored. We only have the integrated settlement status, which gives 5% control as opposed to 20% with the core status. This is why we need to work on assimilation. I'm gonna begin improving relations with the Ottomans as well. Maybe we can have like them and the Mamluks as buddies. That would be perfect. perfect for the future. I guess we could improve with like Georgia, maybe even Chobanids. And we have the rise of the Temur. Just stay away from me, bro. Just stay somewhere here. Actually, guys, let me know in the comments if you would like to see a Timurids run. I haven't tried these guys yet, but it seems pretty interesting on how you can conquer locations immediately without like having to integrate them. Oh my goodness, guys, we have royal marriages available. This is amazing. So we're going to royal marry a dill to the county of Indrids. Now at least we don't have to spend our own legitimacy, and we're going to get a little bit of prestige from that. Another good news is that we have reached nearly 50 cent. We have 48 centralization. So that's fantastic because we can increase our assimilation process. Let's go and continue assimilating our country. Okay, no royal marriages for you. However, we can marry a noble. We have some nobles available for that, so that's also good. And this female character that we have a bunch of royal marriages available. So let's go with one of these Turkish boys over there. Awesome, awesome stuff. We're getting more cores, which means our maximum control in these lands is rising. Instead of 0%, we're going to have 13% in this one location. So that's going to be much better than what we had. Yes, there we go. More max literacy. Let's go for the burgers. Culture's capacity, really beneficial. Let's go for that as well. Stability investment is always nice to have. We have so many cool advances here, and some of these are actually unique to, for example, riches of Asia. If we go to the research tree and if we find this one in the search, we can see that this is unique to Asia. 2.5% production efficiency. The culture's capacity that I mentioned earlier on with culture's melting pot is available because, once again, we're playing in Asia. Some of these are unique to religion, such as this one, unique to Islam. And in the other branches, we also have some unique stuff to the Iranian group, like this one, restoration of cities. So if you're playing like one of the Persian countries, if you're playing as the Ayyubids, you have this one available. And I believe there's more somewhere here. I believe I saw some more. Yes, there we go. We have promotion of irrigation too with 10% food production. Really good for us considering how many food RGOs we have. Now we also have a new parliament, guys, and we're gonna go with the expand gravel road network option. This is an amazing one to complete because if you let this pass, then you can increase your centralization past your limit. So currently we have 50 cent, but we can go for 60. And let's see if we can get another 50% through our agendas, because that would be awesome if we could do that. Hey, there we go. We have unlocked the cultural melting pot advance, so we have more culture's capacity. And what this allows us to do now is go to our estates, and we're gonna get the privilege of promote cultural unity, which reduces the capacity but gives us more assimilation speed. We can now afford to have this because we don't exceed our capacity. Yo, chill guys, we're getting a bunch of royal marriages, and actually one of them is the Ottomans, which is great. We're gonna give additional 6 prestige apart from that, and would be really awesome to get like another event that increases our prestige, because we nearly have 25. And if we go to form new country, we actually can see that to upgrade to a duchy, we need to have 25 prestige, and in addition we will need 100 ducats, so this is why we're keeping some money available. Upgrading to a duchy is gonna be very important, because this is going to allow us to secure a royal marriage with Mamluks. Right now I cannot show you this because we have unmarried male available, but they don't have a female available. But basically, if you have a higher rank, it's easier to secure treaties like this one. Okay boys, I found another royal marriage that we can do, and this puts us above 25 prestige. And there we go, we can go ahead and become a duchy. Our nation is progressing. Good stuff, good stuff. Just give us the diplomat. And check this out, boys. We can propose royal marriage to the Mamluks, and now we have 28 positive reasons for 23 negative. So actually this increased it by 15. And now guys, we have a royal marriage with the Mamluks. So if we hover over offer alliance, it's -20. But this is definitely a step into the right direction. Holy crap, the Timurids are actually going wild. Like, they have expanded a lot. They have not been sleeping since 1360. And this is what AI can do in only 16 years as the Timurids. Imagine what can the player do. Oh, that's actually insane. Grand Principality of Muscovy, a vassal of the Golden Horde. Clearly, these guys haven't watched my Muscovy video. Okay, so we're gonna get some additional trade capacity from research, and also guys, it's about time that we start building some of our own marketplaces, and we can do that since we have towns. We actually have multiple towns now because we have been upgrading some locations through our parliament too. So we have a lot of space for marketplaces. Now, do we get the discount? The answer is yes, we get the maximum discount for masonry and glass, so it's very beneficial for us to start building these. We're gonna make tons of money from trade. Actually, guys, I wanted to show you, we have this unique building called the Funduk. This is only available to Islam religion and can only be built in cities. Also very good for trade capacity, but we can only have one of these. So yeah, we're gonna build one. Alright guys, so there is one more law that we need to switch. Now that we are maxed out on our centralization, we can switch our royal court customs to itinerant court for the proximity cost through land reduction. We don't care about decentralization right now. As long as we have any push towards centralization, we're good. Land focus again, always good to have. So let's see, maybe we can do like a couple more actions, maybe go for diplomatic endeavors. -5 now, we're very close. We can actually improve our relations by up to 50 more, so this should do the trick and we will have the alliance. I'm pretty sure I just saw a notification that Jalayirids got a claim on us. Yeah, I'm not very happy about that. I would really appreciate if these guys would stay away from us for another moment because we're about to ally Egypt. You must accept this food access and keep it. No, they keep canceling it. Okay, we finally have it. Another time we profess trust and offer alliances available. They have +5 reasons, guys. We finally secured the alliance with Egypt. Let's go! This might just be perfect timing. We have a parliament and we have the issue to promote castle works, which reduces fort building costs by 50%. Remember guys, we deleted our initial stockids, so now it's a good time for us to build up forts much cheaper. And if we go to our military tab, we can see that we have a fort limit of 4.20, which means that we can build 4 forts. Obviously, if we wanted to increase it, there are many ways on how we can do it. For example, of increasing noble estate power by granting them more privileges. And nobles even have a specific privilege that increases fort limit. But 4 forts is actually going to be enough for us, so we're going to search for a castle and we're going to build this on the edges of our enemy. So we want to make sure to build these in province capitals, as if province capitals get occupied, then the surrounding locations will also go to enemy control. So this is going to be what we build. 3 forts here, and we're also going to build one in Sinjar once we have the money for it. I think I'm actually going to wait like a little bit more before making a casus belli on Jalayirids because I'm not sure if we are ready to fight them just yet. What I would prefer to happen is for them to have a war of their own with someone, and then we could go for it, because we still don't have a professional army. These guys do have one, and even though we would be relying mostly on the Mamluks, it's still, you know, relying on AI is not perfect. So we want to have as many advantages as possible over them. Now, something that you might not be aware of, guys, is once you just finish building your castles, they're not gonna have full defensiveness. If we hover over the fort in Nusaybin, we can see 17.34% fort defense, and it goes up with each month tick, and this is because we employ more pops in the castle. We need a total of 1,000 pops to be employed, and thankfully, because we have such high stability, we get pop promotion speed plus 95%, which means that we promote much faster. So yeah, it's gonna take a little bit of time until these forts are fully functioning. Guys, this is happening a bit sooner than I expected, but look at this. The loyalty of some of Jalayirid's subjects is down to below 50%, which means they would not help them in a war. We kinda have to rush for this. I'm gonna begin creating a casus belli. Hopefully the situation won't change. It's gonna take us just a couple of months to do this. And also, we have some excess spy network, which we might just be able to use for something. Okay, F it guys, we're going for it. We're going for it earlier than I expected. Let's select Shed the Shackles Casus Belli, invite Egypt, and let's declare. Now, this is gonna be very important. We're going to raise up our 2,200 levies, which is not that much, but we're aiming to do some diplomacy. Now, check this out, guys. We can go sabotage reputation, and we can use our spy network to lower their relations with their own subjects, such as Arachnids, which is a massive subject. Look at that. Their loyalty is down to 37%. I actually think they're not recovering it in this war, which means that they won't have the support of Arachnids. We're gonna try and do the same with vassals such as Satayids, maybe Kaleli, and Injuids as well. And in the meantime, we're just gonna try and avoid engagements as much as possible and just stick to Mamluks. Oh my god, we might be losing this engagement with 6,500. They're insanely strong with their professional army. Look at this. They absolutely crushed us. Yeah, so Mamluks is gonna have to do a better job for us. Okay, no need to panic, guys. Just go together. Surely the second time is gonna be the charm. Maybe we can siege raise this guy. And actually, while we're sieging this fort, we have some Mamluk soldiers occupying their lands in the meantime. And what is Arachnids doing with their massive army? Well, they are just standing because they're disloyal. No, Mamluks, you don't need to focus on the Arachnids. Go occupy anything else. I think this is a big problem in EU5 that the AI doesn't understand the significance of a country not participating in a war when they're disloyal. Like, if they were smarter, they would just ignore them and just occupy Jalayirids itself first. And they're actually losing these oh my god. Mamluks, please, save us the embarrassment. Well, hopefully we will get this fort first. And we do. Now, just follow us, guys, because we need to try and defend this. Half of the army is going the wrong direction. Bro, please. Mamluks, why are you so ass? This is actually disgusting, guys. Like, we have been losing a lot of battles because the Mamluks are just refusing to support us. Okay, the good thing is that our enemy is not that smart either, and they're actually splitting up their units, and they have a very small stack on Nusaybin, so we can protect that at least. And then we can try and unsiege Savur. Guys, the Mamluks actually started doing something. But now, when they started doing something, the vassals of Jalayirids are loyal again. This game, man, this game. I'm gonna lose my mind shortly. Oh crap, it's taking a very long time to unsiege this fort. Yeah, this is not looking very good. Mamluks are losing some engagements. You wanna do like any progress at all? Thank you very much. Okay, finally, we got it. Now, can we crush these guys right here? Would be nice. There we go. That's a little bit of war score. And we actually have positive war score finally. So maybe we can help these guys take over the fort in Kozluk, and then we can march on Iraq. I am so glad that we got these 4 forts, because otherwise we already would have been completely dead and taken over. Yes, please unsiege it. The Mamluks unfortunately took this one location and didn't give us the occupation, so I actually want the enemies to unsiege it because I would like to take it in the peace deal. So Jalayirids, you're actually doing God's work here. Please continue. And once you unsiege it, then we're gonna come back and maybe show you a lesson right quick. Thanks for that, buddy. Really appreciate that. Okay, I'm not sure how this exactly happened, but apparently some of their subjects have pieced us out without us actually noticing. Okay, didn't get enough notification for that, but we can also piece out their subjects separately. Like, we could right now piece out Arachnids, which I am going to do because the Mamluks keep focusing them and I don't want this to happen. So let's just take maybe war reparations and as much money as we can. There we go. And hopefully now it's gonna be easier for us to get more war score and take some stuff and actually finish this war. We are also able to embrace banking, very cheap as well, so might as well do it because we have some new research now available. We can straight up go for banking, pick up some minting threshold, trade range, and maybe bureaucracy law, as well as this unique improved Silk Road advance, which reduces the trade maintenance by 10%. And yeah, we probably don't want to unlock too much research because we're gonna get Renaissance in a matter of no time as well, and we will want to focus on that to get another cabinet seat. We can actually pick up professional armies as well, and I am going to do this immediately because with each institution that you pick up, you get a 5% bonus from number of embraced institutions for your current research progress, so that's going to help us to finish our research faster. We're gonna take over Baghdad, and they don't suspect a thing. Well, I hope they don't, because they're kinda busy here up to our north. Now, to form Kurdistan, we need 14 more locations, guys, and we will need to take everything in the highlighted region. Obviously, we can no longer take their vassals as they're pieced out, but we can take some lands over here. And actually, this is a part of our province because we only have one location in the province of Hasankeyf. So we're gonna take like 3 locations over here. I'm probably gonna take like one more province here to our north and then just go fully to Iraq. And this is a 100% deal that we can take. 350 ducats, war reparations, antagonism that nobody cares about apart from Jalayirids and Chobanids. What will they do? Their country is gonna be completely shattered. This is a massive victory for us, guys. Just wanna make sure that Egypt doesn't get any of these lands. They don't. Perfect. Look at that. The Ayyubids. That's right, boys. We are rich and we are also able to form Kurdistan because we have 32 locations out of the 26 necessary. So let's click this button, form Kurdistan, and this is the awesome blue color that Kurdistan has. I wish our borders were a little bit prettier and I wish that this wasteland was colored, but let's not be too picky about it. This start was insanely annoying. This war was insanely annoying, but we made it work. Egypt is probably going to break our alliance and things might not look pretty going from here, but we might be able to search for some new allies. Maybe we would be able to ally up the Ottomans if we improve our relations a little bit more. Maybe Georgia. Find some new buddies, turn on Egypt, and continue growing our glorious empire. But yeah guys, this is going to be it for today. I hope you enjoyed this run as the Ayyubids. If you did, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe for more content like this. And if you don't have EU5 yet and you're thinking of buying it, then consider using my code Golem ENT through the link in the pinned comment. You would greatly support the channel this way. So thanks for that. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. A big thanks to all the YouTube channel members. You guys are all amazing.